Hello Mebane community, I'm Mitch McKinney. I'm the police chief for the city of Mebane, your police chief, and I'm here today to talk to you about an update to our animal ordinance, specifically how that ordinance affects and impacts all of us, and what you should know about how to safely bring your pets into and out of public spaces in the community. So as the first part of providing that information, I want to tell you that not a whole lot has changed about our ordinance. If you go to our city website and look at the ordinance, you will notice that it mirrors the state statute regarding how we enforce any legal issues around challenges that we face with our animal companions. Regarding that, the first part of this is it's going to be incredibly important for anyone who owns a pet to realize they are responsible for that pet. And that responsibility, when you bring those pets into public spaces, is incredibly important to understand and appreciate. For example, if you're going to bring a pet out to one of the dog parks similar to the one behind me, you do not have to have that pet on a leash when you're inside the enclosed area of the park. However, when you're bringing the dog from your vehicle or you're walking the dog up from your residence, however you get your pet over to this area, you're going to transverse through public space and you need to keep your dog on a leash. You as the pet owner are responsible for the behavior of your pet. And what we would ask is anyone who has a negative interaction with a pet or has concerns about a pet, regardless of whether that's an aggressive animal or you may think that the animal is not being taken care of properly, we don't want you to hesitate in calling 911 and reporting that information to the police department. Our community, as is common in many other communities, has concerns about misusing 911. Here in Alamance and Orange County, we use the 911 system to help inform the officers' responses, but we use it for all calls for service, regardless of whether it's an emergency or a non-emergency. Now, Monday through Friday, we have a non-emergency line through the police department that you can also utilize, and you can feel free to make that phone call if you're more comfortable doing that. But most of the time when you make that call, our staff are going to refer you to the telecommunicators that are working the telecommunications center in either Alamance or Orange County as appropriate based on your residence and where the location is where you need our resources, and they'll deploy those resources as necessary. But again, I want to reiterate, you are not impacting and not causing any challenges or issues. You are actually helping us in our responses when you utilize that system. So what we would ask is that if you're having an interaction that you're not comfortable with, that you put some space and distance between you and the other animal or the animal and the animal owner. And on the other side of that, if you're the animal owner and you have your pet on a leash as you're supposed to, we would ask you to control that animal and keep it in a specific area until the other person has had an ability to put some distance between themselves and yourself, just for safety reasons. And I can't overemphasize that there are some members of our community that are naturally apprehensive around any pet, and their anxiety may go up. And if they have a responsibility to communicate that to you if they can. And we would just ask that you, as a good neighbor and a good community stakeholder, be respectful of that and control your animal and control that space in as much as you can. Now, there are going to be situations where that can happen, where you may be training an animal and you're trying to socialize an animal for whatever reason. And we understand that. It's going to be incredibly important that you try to start doing that at home in a controlled space. And then we know naturally you want to migrate away from that space and be able to have your animal integrate and be social with other dogs, just like what we see over here. And I see my buddy Vader, the pit bull, staring at me right now. He and I got to know each other just a minute ago, which is the reason that I'm covered in mud right now, candidly. So a couple things about the ordinance that are really important. We have 2 designations for animals that we're investigating. One of those would be where we determine through a thorough investigation that the dog is considered a dangerous dog. And we will address that through all the steps located, clearly defined and located within the city ordinance. There's also the potentially dangerous dogs. That is the same process. We investigate that the same way. We're just gathering more facts to make that determination. Is this dog truly dangerous? Is it truly a threat to the community? And how can we mitigate that threat to, potentially our goal is to mitigate it to where the pet owner can, keep custody of their pet. There are going to be some occasions where that just simply can't happen, and we would take custody of that dog after we followed the correct court procedure to do that. Now, we can temporarily take custody of that dog for a period of up to 10 days while we're making that determination. And we're going to be responsible, as we are in all investigations, and we're going to consider all the sides. We're going to follow and gather all the facts of the investigation to make the determination. It is not our goal to separate pet owners from their pets. In many ways, it's analogous to our children, and we understand that at the police department. We are going to have an empathetic response, and we're going to help put you in touch with not only the resources that we have in the police department, our animal control officer and our newly formed special operations unit, which will be supporting that function, but also resources within the county, whether that be, again, Orange County or Alamance County, that are going to help give you, positive support in trying to maintain control of your animals and keep custody of your animals. So I hope that that alleviates some of the concern in the community. Okay, Mebane community, we hope that this video has been informative and at least answered a few of your questions. If you have additional questions, we encourage you, as always, please reach out to us. We're here to support, help, and communicate and collaborate with you in any way, shape, or manner that we can to make this positively charming community continue to maintain that reputation between pet owners and the people interacting with those pet owners. And on behalf of the Mebane Police Department, I want to thank Sergeant Rodney Ward, our Canine Sergeant, and the star of the show, Canine Officer Loki, who has no shy, ambiguous ambition about not being in front of the camera, right? Good boy.